YouTube is up. And Twitch is up, and for those who need it, I'll put the links in the chat. All right. We've got a smaller group tonight, about 16 images in our slideshow. I have a couple announcements that I want to make. Bob Bloomberg won't be able to make it tonight. He sends his regards. We're also going to be missing Jay. Jay has heart bypass surgery later this month. Potentially a quadruple bypass.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore. So if you'd like to reach out to him and send him your regards, I am putting his email address in the chat. Consider reaching out to him. I think he's in good spirits. But that's a major operation. He'll be out of commission for at least 3 months. So we probably won't be seeing very much of him for the rest of the winter. Now, before I start the slideshow, does anyone have anything they would like to announce or share?
Real quickly, I saw today, I think it was on iPop, somebody has produced a trailer for 2001: A Space Odyssey. Not that they're doing that in 3D, but they just sort of said, look how great this movie would be. I'm gonna put the link in the chat if you want. I was very impressed.
This is a 3D conversion?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that...
Yeah, converters are getting more and more ambitious. It used to just be public domain titles.
Well, they're not releasing it or selling it or anything. I think I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe see if they can get MGM to say, oh, yeah, you can do that.
It's like, I don't know if you saw that article in the New Yorker this week about this crazy billionaire who's trying to reconstruct Magnificent Ambersons with AI.
I did see that.
Yeah. And didn't get anybody's permission,
3D.
just going ahead and doing it.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody would be interested in stopping them. That's, I mean, the film is.
The Wells estate was caught by surprise. They're being slowly won over, according to the article, but they don't have a financial stake in the movie itself.
Yeah, and the article seems to want to make it as close to Wells' vision as they can. So I can't imagine that they would object to that.
I mean, they've got some documentation to go off of. They've got a cutting continuity. They've got screenplay and stills, but obviously they can't get the real Agnes Moorehead or Joseph Cotten for their specific interpretations.
Well, they dropped AI-generated characters into the Wizard of Oz at Sphere, and they looked pretty sloppy to me. I hope that they do better with an Orson Welles title than they did with...
They had one shot with Joseph Cotten, and it was pretty convincing.
Yeah, there's a little video online connected to the article. It's neat stuff. But the ethics...
Well, if either of you have a link to put in the chat, I'm sure some of us would love to take a look at that.
I think I have that. I can look for that.
Yeah, don't knock yourself out, but...
Hey, Jay, I've got a general question. I've been reading the history of Golden Gate organization, and you have listed chairman, presidents, whatever, for a long way back. I didn't remember Golden Gate being that old. Was that the Cordova or the Oakland group?
Oakland Camera Club. Oakland Miniature Camera Club.
Okay. I do remember that.
Yeah, that's us, Lee. We are the Oakland Camera Club. We changed our name, gosh, how long has it been now? 10 years ago, something like that. I could certainly find out. It's been a while. The Oakland Camera Club, of course, was a traditional camera club with several divisions. But by the time I joined it, and a lot of us joined it, the stereo division was the only division that was active. So we changed our name to better reflect who we are. But that's where those dates come from. We were the Oakland Camera Club, and before that, as Tor mentioned, we were the Miniature Camera Club. We were founded as the Miniature Camera Club in the 30s, and by miniature, I don't mean tiny detective spy
Portable.
cameras. I
30
mean,
millimeter.
exactly, 35 millimeter cameras. Miniature compared to like plate photography.
Can I ask one more question?
Of course.
Barry Beeler, is he still around?
I haven't spoken to Barry in, gosh, 8 or 10 months. He retired. He moved to Rossmore, and then he moved up into I think Lake County in Northern California. He's not an active stereo photographer. I'll reach out to him and see what he's up to. All right.
So I put the link in there.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Steve. There it is for the magnificent Ambersons. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I can do this right the first time. Okay, I think that's right. If you're following along on Zoom, you should see our title screen, as well as on YouTube and Twitch. Our first stereo photo tonight. Oh, before I begin, I should state for our members and guests that our theme tonight is contre-jour and silhouette, backlit subjects in stereo, which is what we'll be seeing tonight. And our first image is by Roberto. It's coming up now. The title is Beethoven Monument. Tell us all about this.
Yes, I took this picture last Saturday. I was attending this New Year, Chinese New Year, and this was really early in the morning, so I take advantage of the really early hours and took this one. Maybe you can resemble this other pictures. Same.
Oh,
Your
Roberto,
sound's
you
cutting in.
Share with you two other pictures from.
Roberto,
Yeah.
you're cutting in and out. We didn't get that. We got the first part, but not the
Ah.
second part.
Okay. Yes. Well, maybe you can listen me a little bit better now.
Sounds like it's a connection issue. Your screen is freezing.
Let me turn off my Bluetooth. This maybe without video you can listen me a little
Yeah,
bit
now
clearer.
you sound a little more clear.
Perfect. Yes, maybe my bandwidth. I don't know why it's a little bit clunky, but okay.
Who knows?
Well, yes, this is a picture that I took last Saturday. Maybe you can resemble this location. I maybe share with you two other pictures with Katrina's. Yes, I believe both were Katrina's, different hours, different times. And this one was I was attending the Chinese New Year that is happening around these days. And this was really early in the morning, so I took advantage of the sunrise. And I really like this location. So I was looking for other pictures like fit to the topic for tonight, but I had to take this one as a backup if I couldn't find another.
So I like the glow coming through the statue.
Very
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
And there's a faint rainbow too around it.
Yes, it's a halo around the clouds
Yeah.
because it was a little bit cold here in Mexico City, and higher in a higher altitude you can, well, you know that ice could be generated because the conditions.
Yeah, I didn't even notice the halo. That's remarkable.
And I had, sorry, I had to up a little bit the contrast because it was a little bit flatter the real view. I took this with my RXO, so I advantage of the contrast that you can extract from those pictures.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you, Roberto.
Thank you.
Lee, you're up next with Inverse Cross, and I have your statement here that I'll read. Taken at a cemetery in Huntsville, Alabama. This was a single image converted to 3D by Owl 3D. Did I get that rightly? I want to make sure I don't mix up your
Yes,
your
that's right.
captions. Okay. Are you doing a lot of conversions, Lee?
Not a lot. It turned out I had taken a lot of pictures of cemeteries for something. I think for a church program or something, but I was only doing them in 2D. And when I went back and saw this one, I thought, no, I need to show that in 3D. But I have now 3D for a number of programs, a number of images, not nearly enough.
When I look at this, when I look at a 2D version of it, it looks like they're on the same plane. Like one is not in front of the other. Might be just be my perception of it, but clearly Owl 3D thinks one is closer to the camera than the other. Do you recall what it was when you took this picture?
Well, that's a headstone on a grave plot, and so it obviously had some thickness, a few inches maybe.
So the actual headstone, the profile is a rectangle with a cross-shaped void in the middle.
Yes.
And these two segments are facing each other because in the conversion, the segment on the right appears to be behind the segment on the left. Appears to be further away and larger.
Yeah, that I mean it's pretty dramatic. I mean it's quite a big gap. I think anybody looking at this in 3D would see that. And if it's a single headstone, I mean what are they connected at the bottom?
Yes, they are. And you are exactly right about how it looks. It did not look that way to me before I sent it. Whether or not it's
so Owl definitely got this one wrong.
I actually like what it did. I mean, I think it's better than the original.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see how it works with the silhouette. But yeah, it's also fascinating to see how much work our brains will do to say, well, I know what this is supposed to look like. Fix it up in our heads.
Yes, you are right. It looks as you described.
I think that Owl doesn't know what to do with the lens flare. It does what we think it should do, which is to come out of the image plane. But whereas, of course, lens flares and rainbows are always at infinity. but again, it improved on reality. It's I like it better than the original.
I tried Owl and it only gave me one eye, and it was the exact same image that I put in. So I don't know what's going on with that. I tried it 3 times. I got the same, and I even tried it, left and then right, and it was always the same picture. So I don't know.
So
That sounds like
you,
I have wondered whether or not one image is exactly like I gave Al, or did it work on both of them somewhat?
it looks like the left eye is unaltered and the right eye is offset. I'm just looking at the distortion in the trees along the right edge of both the monoliths.
Yeah, you can sort of see where it tried to make up some
The
trees.
depth map getting stretched.
In my experience, Owl 3D seems to rely more on scale to determine the placement on the z-index, whereas the other one that I use, Immersity, I don't want to call it smart, but it seems to do more analysis of the image, and I'd be really curious how different conversion utilities would handle this image. It'd probably be very different. For those who downloaded the files, I incorrectly specified that this is a native rather than a conversion. Doesn't really matter, but just a heads up.
I could not pick both.
Yeah.
You could only pick one for all of the images that you submit.
That's something I obviously didn't think through when I set up the upload page. So we'll take a look at that. There are a few things I need to upgrade on that. I also want to allow people to specify the order that their images appear, but that's a whole nother conversation. And I don't want to overshadow this lovely image. Thank you, Lee.
Certainly.
And while we're on the topic of crosses, here's one from Melinda. And the title is Contrail Cross.
Yeah, this was a lovely lovely sunset at my favorite puddle, I guess. Yeah, right after sunset, but sometimes some of the most interesting stuff happens then. The sky was just exquisite, and getting a nice mirror reflection really made the shot. And then I just waited for somebody to cross in front of the sunset, and this guy came along with a brightly colored jacket, which was just what I needed.
Very nice.
Thank you. And then I think I was careful with the framing to put the sort of the limbs of the X all the way out to the all 4 corners.
Yeah, it's remarkable how those trails are pointing right at that cyclist, or perhaps emanating from the cyclist.
Yeah, and I don't remember if that was exactly where I wanted him, or if I was probably thinking, oh, let's get him in front of the brightest part of the sunset. But it definitely put him at the very crux of the cross. So I'd like to think that was my intention. And then I got lucky too at the architecture. That I like that little archway in the leftmost building, which with the reflection makes it kind of an oval shape. Just luck.
Yeah, the
Pleasing.
reflection of the sky reveals a little bit more detail in the sky too.
It's like lowering the contrast.
Right.
Also getting a bit of transparency. I think we're seeing a bit of the street below the puddle too.
I don't think so.
Some green.
I think it's the things you that are coming that are easy to see in the reflection. I think if you look up in the sky, you'll find the source. But I had the same kind of thought too. But the thing with water reflections is if you get down low and shoot at a pretty low angle, you get pretty much a perfect reflection. The water can be completely muddy and dirty, and like underneath these puddles, there's like some signage and things like that. But you can't see any of that when you get down to like a 10 or 20 degree angle. I encourage
Did you need to boost shadow areas on this one, or is this like it's straight out of the camera?
almost straight out of the camera. I think with all of my submissions here, I just did some basic filters, curves, levels, maybe shadow highlight, or saturation. But I don't know that I like touched any pixels here, and very all of the images here are pretty low touch.
It could be interesting to see this one upside down.
Yeah, I tried that already. It's let's see, can you do that in Stereo Photo Maker? I'm not sure.
I don't know if there's
It's
a key. I think you have to go into easy alignment to rotate it. I don't know if there's a keyboard shortcut for that.
oh well, if you can figure it out, you can try it. I recall trying it, but it's interesting because instead of being shot from just above the water, it makes it look like you're looking from just below the water. So you're kind of looking out through a hole. It's kind of interesting.
So Melinda, when it rains, do you run out to the spot? Is this your go-to place?
No, this is sort of on my main path down to the sort of sunset viewing place, where all the strange people show up. It's just kind of a magnet, and so this is on the way. So if it had rained, then I'll often see what's going on with the puddles. And it's really the sunset that kind of brings me out of the house.
It's the light, not the water.
It's light, yeah. I get kind of excited when I see the golden hour, and especially if it's a nice clear day.
And it looks like there's another photographer in the frame, standing under that. I think it's a lamppost on the right edge of the frame.
Oh yeah, look at that. He's taking a picture of me, huh? He's smiling too. I didn't know. There's two. Oh, they're both shooting. There's two people taking pictures of this crazy woman who is taking pictures of a puddle. That's funny.
I think they're onto something.
Yeah, I noticed that there were people there, but I didn't zoom in until now.
I thought it doesn't rain in Southern California.
Well, this is Northern California.
What the song says.
Yeah, but this is not Southern California. This is San Francisco.
and we send them our water, so it doesn't need to rain.
Yeah.
They just take ours.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you.
Coming up next is one by me. I took this at the beginning of the month at the flea market, or rather the antiques fair. Backlit glass is the title, and I was really trying to get a illumination effect on these glasses that were on display on this table. Shooting into light, I think it was moderately effective. It's got a fair amount of 3D, so I'd call it a successful attempt. I took this with my Beam Pro.
Yeah, those amber glasses look nice.
Is the person smoking a cigarette or something?
No, I think
Looking-
she just kind of has kind of like a mean look on her face, but she was just sort of walking through with her arms crossed when I got this photo.
Look very closely. There's something under her nose.
I think that's just your hair.
Okay.
I could bring this into Shadow's highlight and pump it up and see exactly what she's doing, but she didn't seem to be too happy to be there.
I like the variety of qualities in the various glasses. Translucent, transparent, refractive.
Yeah, that's a
Fun.
good point. I wonder if this would have been more successful if the sun was a little lower when I took it. That might just blast everything. I don't know. I took this probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So the sun was pretty high. It was hard to kind of shoot into the light.
Yeah, we're not getting a lot of backlight on the glasses on the table because they're in the shadow of the shelf.
Right. All right, thank you. Yeah, and of course, flea markets are great subjects for stereo photography. Let's move on to one by Steve. Steve, tell us about Fort Mason loops.
I was going to a program at Fort Mason, and when coming out, it was sunset. It's getting to be sunset, and they have these sculptures there. Now, I got to remind myself to bring my W3 when I travel, and I didn't. So I took this with my phone. So this is a cha-cha, and I don't recommend that. I tried to wait till there were fewer people or fewer vehicles moving around, but as soon as one leaves, another one comes in. So it's a lot of cut and paste. But I like the shadows, and so I picked this frame. I took about six different positions, and I picked this one because of the person walking was casting a shadow. Some of the shadows a little bit faked, but don't tell anybody.
The cyclists look good. It just looks like you struggled with the pedestrian.
Well, thank you. I probably did more. I mean, the cyclists cycles are they're terrible because they got these holes all over them. So, I had to cut out a car would be easier because there's fewer, there's less negative space. But, hey, I persevered. It's, it's kind of fun in a way. I mean, there was a lot less to do with the pedestrian. But I think more it's just because of the retinal rivalry, because she's right in line with the sculpture. So it doesn't quite, it's harder to reconcile that.
I think I mean mostly her shadow. It's like the right eye looks good. It looks like you manufactured that shadow. Oh, and maybe you just left the left eye alone. But
Well, yeah, I mean, I admitted that I did. I was hoping nobody would notice. I shouldn't have said anything, but you noticed it anyway because you weren't. So yeah, I mean,
yeah, but I didn't notice the bikes. I mean, the bikes looked fine.
well,
So
thanks.
you obviously did a good job there.
Yeah, I think maybe. I mean, I didn't do a lot to the shadow. I think I just extended it to line up with her foot. So I think it's more that the actual shadow had some natural retinal rivalry, just because of its position. But yeah, maybe I just screwed up. I don't know.
I mean, you probably needed a bit of shadow that wasn't in the photo.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think once I repositioned her, there was missing information, and I
Yeah.
was making it up, and I was not doing that correctly.
Yeah. When were you there?
About a week ago, it was for Sketchfest. Before I forget,
Because I
the
was
event
right
for
there. I was right there yesterday.
oh, oh, what did I do with it? There's a sculpture. I walked right past a demonstration of a sculpture. I had the flyer right here. Now I don't know where it is, but it's right there at Fort Mason. There's volumetric sculptures. Apparently, there's this animator has done um, animations that are projected in, with like fog and stuff. Something that I'm really fascinated with, and I can't
Oh,
remember the person.
I think I saw that. Yeah, I don't think it was open when I walked
It
by,
was
but I saw that there was some kind of exhibit.
it was definitely open, and I went in and talked to the people, but as I was on my way to the Sketchfest thing, and so I should have just gone to the gallery. The Sketchfest was not very good, but usually they're good. But anyway,
Did you like this show that you saw?
I didn't care for it. It was an improv show.
No, no, I mean
From
the exhibit.
Oh, I didn't go to the exhibit. I'm just
Oh,
telling
okay.
people about it because you might be interested. I plan to go sometime, and I'll give you a review. Or if somebody wants to accompany, we can make arrangements to meet there. I It's gonna be there till early March. I'll have to go in February because I'm out of town in March. So, um, sometime.
Well, Steve, if you decide to go, share it with the group if you'd like some company. I'd love to check that out. Post it on our, group's IO board or something if you can stand us to be there with you.
Oh,
Sounds
I'd
pretty
love it.
interesting.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
I have no excuses, so yeah, I'll definitely try to make it.
we'll make a field trip out of it.
This is a great subject, Steve. This loop, this sculpture. Do you know? Does it have a title?
I didn't see anything, but I didn't really look too hard. I was more just looking around for subjects I could shoot backlit.
Yeah, really nice. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Our next image is by Bob Bloomberg, and he couldn't join us tonight. This is Buckyball San Francisco Exploratorium. I think a lot of us has seen this, maybe not from this angle, from this time of day. Let's share some comments for Bob in case he's watching the stream or will be watching the recording later.
Well, it's a lovely sky, and he positioned it very carefully, not to touch any buildings. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's pretty close to that banner. I feel like it wants to be rotated counterclockwise, maybe half a degree or something. That's kind of nitpicky, but that's what I would do.
This one complements the other one that it's the negative, the ball with infinite mirrors that
Oh yeah.
is like the negative version.
That's a really good point.
I mean, I don't think this thing can be rotated, so the only way to rotate it is to move your body, and which would uh, uh, interfere with the thing that Melinda pointed out, which is that it's perfectly positioned where the building, where in the gap of the building. So I see what you're looking at. You're looking to try and center it a little better.
Well,
No,
Um,
I want to
yeah,
actually rotate it.
I've had success straightening out the horizon by just skewing the image, not actually rotating.
I took Matt's suggestion to be the straightening of that horizontal line
Yeah.
that goes almost through the middle. So that would just be an image rotation.
Yeah, as I was looking at it's hard to tell what the horizon is here. It does seem to be high on the left, and you could just skew the image instead of rotating it to straighten that horizon.
I mean, I don't want to speak for Matt, but I didn't take him to be talking about the horizon, but rather that horizontal line on the model,
That's
which
what I was
presumably
judging it by. Yeah, the horizontals on the actual the
base.
buckyball. Yeah, the
Yeah.
base and
that makes sense. I see exactly what you mean.
just a little
It,
bit.
it would be the same adjustment. The base is obviously parallel with the horizon with the level of the earth. But yeah.
And I guess you could skew it. I've never tried that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about anyone else here. When I do my image rotation in Stereo Photo Maker, and I really try to limit it to just maybe 1.5 degrees. I'm kind of afraid of introducing some kind of visual artifacts. Does anyone else work that way? Worry about that? Is it just me?
when you're rotating.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't worry about it. Although I have to give apologies deeply to John Ballou. We had a big fight about this, and when I first showed up, and I was claiming that you couldn't rotate stereo images without causing big problems, but he was right. You actually can, which in retrospect makes sense. But I didn't get it at the time. So no, I think you can rotate it freely. It'll gives you believable results. It's pretty much the equivalent to just tilting your head when you're taking the shot. It can't make up for the height difference in your eyes when you tilt, but it can definitely put the center of view perfectly horizontal. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, you're definitely going to be doing some cropping. Yeah, and some.
Yeah,
Definitely cropping. Yeah.
I don't think it's a problem. Obviously, if you editing a side by side picture, it's going to be really difficult. But if you, obviously, and Stereo Photo Maker makes it very easy. But also, if you're using a paint program and you stack them, then you can rotate them together. It's not a problem.
Good to know. Thanks, guys. I'm very conservative when it comes to that kind of rotation. I don't really know what I'm afraid of. I guess I should probably try pushing that limit.
I keep it within 10 degrees.
10 degrees. That's. I guess I should probably do some research, see how far stereo pair can be rotated. Somebody must have done that research before. I'm sure.
Well, just try it on this one. Just crank it 10 degrees and you'll see what happens.
I will. I'm not going to do it during the live stream because it'll mess everything up and then I'll have to reset and it'll be a big pain in the neck. But for next time. Well, thank you, Bob. We'll see Bob next month. Let's move on to one by Lee. And I have a caption here. Silhouette at White Sands is the title. Taken at sunset at White Sands National Memorial, now a park.
Nice. We're putting things in front of the sun. That seems to be an accidental theme.
That definitely fits the bill.
That's nice. I like how the all those leaves are all very sharp.
And they let a lot of light through too.
Real easy to see in this view. That's good exposure. I might add a frame.
Oh, that's a good suggestion. Yeah, frames do seem to assist these darker images. That's something I need to start thinking about too, although I don't take very many late afternoon or nighttime photos myself.
I wonder if when you took the picture, if you moved the camera lower, would you get to see more of the shape? Because it's hard to see against the ground. It shows up really well against this beautiful sunset.
The shade?
Would that work? If
I'm
you
not sure I know what you're describing.
More of the plant, you want to see the bottom half of the
I
plant?
want to see a little bit more of it, and I think if you move the camera down, wouldn't the horizon move down with you?
But
and would reveal more of the plant?
You could tilt down and then the horizon would be higher. You could lower the camera physically on the tripod, and then you get less perspective. You get less view of the ground because the perspective would be compressed.
Actually, let me tell you what I did.
Yeah. All right.
I had taken a few pictures just before this, earlier in the day, maybe an hour or so earlier, and it shows the whole plant, not this plant, but another one nearby. And it's got the rivulets, waves in the white sand. It's got no footprints, shows a dune in the distance, got a pretty blue sky. And then I went a very short distance over and took this image later. So lots of times I show both images and I tell the people this is what the whole plants look like. And then after sunset, the plants look more like this.
So this is really part of a series that would probably reveal all of the plant.
Yes. A different plant, but another, I think it's yucca, that's very close.
A different specimen.
Yes.
All right, so you did think that through. Well, thank you, Lee. And do you recall when this image was taken, or that series of stereo photos?
It was several years ago. It was instantaneous. probably with 2 cameras on a bar. Been a long time. I've been there several times. If you're not familiar with White Sands, it's very close to the town called Alamogordo. It's gypsum sand that is very white that somehow came into that area. And I worked for the Army, so the Army has a White Sands missile range, which is fairly close to this, where missiles are fired and things like that. And actually, I went there on business as a civilian, but when I was drafted in the Army, I was at Fort Bliss, and we did bivouacking out in this area, not in the White Sands, but very close to it.
Bivouacking?
Bivouac, that's Army, if I remember correctly, for camping out.
Aha.
Sleeping in shelter halves, which are two pieces of a tent. The other guy gets one side of the tent, and you get one side of the tent. So it's a shelter half.
Okay, shelter half. Oh, learning all sorts of new things with this photo. Well, thank you, Lee. It's a lovely time of day that you captured here. Roberto, you're up next. Heaven is the title.
Yes, well, this is another picture. Maybe you remember last week I showed you this tunnel, the crystal tunnel, and this is underground. This is like maybe 3 or 4 stories below, and this is a close basement, and everything is light with these RGB LED lights, and they have this cycle of lights during the exhibition. This is like an experimental space, and I took this one, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 months ago. I took it this last year. I was going, I passed by and getting to see what was new, and I really like this one. Well, and trying to fit the topic, this was the only one that I could find that I took in stereoscopic and drew a silhouette in the picture. It was really difficult to find something to fit this topic tonight.
Yeah, this is a challenging, special subject, and I think we have a couple challenging subjects this year. I really like this, and it's a very, it's a unique solution to this challenge. It does show the silhouetted figures, but we're not shooting into the light. The light kind of enforces or complements this scene. It's really unique in this slideshow tonight.
Matt, did you come up with that other word that I had to look up?
What was that?
The subject.
The subject.
Start with a C.
Contre-jour?
Yeah.
Contre-jour. Yes, I did not make up that term. I don't speak French. It is French. Contre-jour is like backlit, but not completely silhouetted, which I think we're seeing in a lot of these.
I don't speak French, but it sounds like it would mean against the day.
Right, or against, or into the light. Yeah. That's the literal explanation, I think. I think Matt has the more correct meaning as intended. Yeah.
Well, yes. Well, with this topic, I have learned another ambient to shoot for this for stereoscopic format.
I'm going to put oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what is that in the middle of the structure? It seems like in the very center, there's maybe something hanging in the very center, and then something directly below it, what is that?
Well, actually, that's a huge structure above on the street level. There's a pale that it's like, I don't know, like 20 stories high, but it's a resemble of the 200th anniversary of our independence. And this is the basement, the fund, the I forgot the name in English, where and when you have the house under the the the
The foundation?
the foundation, yes, for this structure. This is the foundation for that one. So this continues all the way up to the street level.
This has no bearing on the quality of this photo, but this is the rare color stereo photo that looks almost identical, close to identical as an anaglyph, as it does as a side-by-side.
Okay.
So use that information however you want, but
good to know. Well, maybe because it's like a monochromatic photo, like almost all blue, it could work.
yeah, the colors are generally accurate in the anaglyph. Technically, it's a half-color anaglyph that we stream on our anaglyph channel, but I don't want to get too technical here. This is a lovely photo, and keep it in your back pocket for the next time we have a color special subject, because
Perfect. I have more from this site, so maybe a different one.
All right.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Roberto. Melinda is up next with Curious Hounds.
Yeah, so this one I definitely went out intentionally looking for subjects for the special. Just took a walk in the Golden Gate Park, and this was Spreckles Lake, and there's some beautiful crenellated clouds towards the sunset. This image was almost black and white as it came out of the camera, so I just decided to convert it fully to grayscale. And shadow highlights brought out the detail of the dogs. The person is still pretty much completely in shadow, which is fine. And the dogs are kind of interesting. I think they're really old, and they seem to know the drill. And later on, I noticed them noticing a cat or something like that, and they were baying in that very hound-like way. It's kind of funny. And the man didn't seem to know what to do. The dogs wanted to go two different directions, so they would just be pulling him, and he was trying to follow them. It was kind of an amusing moment at the lake.
To me, the sky is what Hoagie Carmichael sang about, Old Buttermilk Sky. That was the most famous song.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you. Yes, I agree.
Is this close to the windmill in Golden Gate Park?
Yeah, not too far. It's just in the background there. Probably a bit to the left.
Okay, okay.
You got a great moment with the dogs. The dog closest to the side of the walker has a paw in the air. The other has a paw extended with the location of the dog's leg, sometimes it can be less flattering in a photo depending on that moment that you capture the four-legged step. And you even have the leg of the dog walker lifted. So great timing.
Well, there's a lot of legs, so there's a
Yeah.
good chance that some of them will be in the air. And pretty much,
there's a nice frame around it. Now, did you do the frame, have it put on by a program, or did you make the frame, the white frame around it?
no, I just used Stereo Photo Maker. It's got a great border functionality. Pretty much,
Okay.
everything you would want and nothing more. It's pretty easy to use. You just have to decide like the width of your frame and pick a color. So I use almost pure white usually. Sometimes I'll change the color, but usually just white. And I used to use a 4-pixel border, and recently I've moved to 5 pixels, which also makes it a little easier. When you resize your image, you have to take that into account. So if you make the image height 1070 pixels instead of 1080, then a 5-pixel border will result in a 1080 image with the border.
Oh, thank you. Yes, and if you were making a stereo card to print, you could make the corners rounded.
Yep, and it will it has some features for composing stereo cards also. I've never used it though.
Well, thank you, Melinda.
Mm-hmm.
This one is mine. Cattle Corral is the title. I took this on Saturday for this meeting. I'm not completely satisfied with it. I took this with my Beam Pro. I'm not sure what I could do to make it. Oh, well, it looks like I failed to align this properly. I think I submitted the wrong one, so I don't have an excuse for that. If you can imagine it being behind the window. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this. I'm not sure if this one was entirely successful.
I think it's fine. I mean, you got a nice sky. You did something creative with the putting it behind that post, and then we've got like 4 or 5 different spaces that the fence is divided into. So it's an interesting geometric composition.
Maybe it would be improved with a cow.
I agree. I tend to take a kind of a cinematic approach, since in the movies they're always breaking the frame, and I didn't bother me. I know it bothers Oleg a lot, but I'm fine with it. I've tended to pull back on that since submitting pictures to the club. But I think it's really interesting that this picture follows Melinda's, which she said had very little color in it. And at first I thought it was a black and white picture. Then I noticed the blue in the sky. So it's kind of interesting that there's a tiny bit of green grass, tiny bit of blue. I know we've got a black and white competition coming up. I don't know when. Yeah, I've never quite understood the black and white thing, because you could take any picture and take out the color. I'm going to pose the idea that this would qualify without any changes because it's almost black and white. and I find that kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah, that's good to know. Thanks, Steve. I find that the Beam Pro tends, I find that the images that I take with my Beam Pro, this being one, seem to demand some saturation, and I did not saturate this one intentionally because I um, wanted to focus on that quality of light. And I did not try this as a black and white, but I will. And since I failed to adjust the alignment to the horizontal alignment to my satisfaction, maybe I will re-enter this in the black and white special, which is coming up in April, just 2 months from now. All right, thank you. Steve, while I've got you, let's hear about your El Cerrito Bart at sunset, which is coming
So
right up.
same story as the last one. I knew this competition was coming up. I was getting off the bike. It might have been I was coming back from Fort Mason. I can't remember now. No, it wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been two sunsets. So it was a different thing I was coming home
Be
from,
a fast BART train.
and um, I didn't have my W3 with me, so this is another cha-cha, and it's the same thing. It's because we were all getting off the BART at the same time, so people are getting in their cars and moving around, and I was waiting. And then as soon as like the cars start to move, then another train comes and a whole new group of people come in. So I just said, well, if I keep waiting, it's going to be night. So I'm just going to take a bunch of pictures and see what I can do. So there's a lot of cutting and pasting. And the guy standing there, he actually, I don't think I manipulated him. He was very, very helpful. He just basically stood there. But they all, except I think 6 different cars I had to reposition. But so the information's in the title. It's the El Cerrito BART station.
And for
Right.
those who aren't familiar with BART, it's the Bay Area Rapid Transit. It's our metro train that gets us around.
Yeah. El Cerrito is not far from Berkeley. I think probably most people know Berkeley is across the bay from San Francisco.
And there is a Berkeley station, but it's not this nice.
What's great about the El Cerrito station is the track is above. So when you're getting on the train or getting off the train, most of it's underground. There are a few places, West Oakland, MacArthur, that are above ground, but everything else is underground. Almost all of San Francisco is underground. But El Cerrito, you get a nice view of the Golden Gate Bridge from the train. So if you're visiting San Francisco, I recommend you take a train. I used to teach in San Francisco, and I took the bus one time, and then I really could appreciate it was coming home at sunset across the Bay Bridge. And I said, well, this is something you don't see on the train. And when I would go to San Francisco, I'd drive and I'd just be focused on the road. I couldn't really appreciate the sunset. So, you might want to be a passenger sometime across the bridge. So I kind of like the shadows in this.
And you've got lovely detail in those trees, those individual needles.
Yeah, well, that's
It's a
one
nice sharp
advantage.
photo.
That's one advantage of using the cell phone rather than the W3. It's definitely got, sharper sensors, better lenses,
I think if
but not.
you used the Beam Pro, you would have slightly sharper results than the W3, but probably not as sharp as your smartphone, the image that you're showing us here. I haven't done any formal tests, but in my experience, it's somewhere in between those two in terms of image sharpness.
Yeah, I've been considering it.
Well, for me, the strongest feature is the wide angle lenses. That sort of means it's not great for really long distance shots, but within like a 20-foot range, it seems to make all images look better.
Yeah, as Roberto was saying a couple weeks ago, I think it's just the sensor technology in the Beam Pro is that much better than the types of sensors that are used in the W3. But Steve, don't chuck your W3 just yet. I mean, it's the only real digital stereo camera, one of the few that we actually got. I don't consider the Beam Pro a camera, but I don't want to hijack this conversation. So nicely done, Steve.
Thanks.
And keep them coming. Lee, you're up next. There we go. The title is Walls Closing In. Oh, and you're muted, Lee. You'll need to unmute yourself. And I do have a caption for this, taken at Upper Antelope Canyon near Page, Arizona, on American Indian land.
Yes, I've been there several times. It's very narrow spot, very beautiful. You get guides to take you in who are usually, I think, Navajo. I'm not sure, but they take you through this, and the lights overhead streaming down in, and you can get some beautiful shots like this.
It's got this incredible glow. The quality of the light is wonderful. Lee,
Yeah,
does the
lovely.
oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Melinda. I was just going to ask if for these photos to work, Lee, does the sun have to be directly overhead? Do you have a limited time frame that you can capture these exposures?
There is a certain time of day and certain times of the year too. You like a bright, sunny outside day, and in different places along the canyon, it will look differently. One thing people do is pick up a bucket of sand and throw it in the air and in a sunbeam, and then you'll get a line of a sunbeam down from above top to the bottom of all that sand you've thrown up in the air. There is a lower Antelope Canyon not too far away. That's where a lot of people ended up dying. What happens? Water creates these things, and it can rain upstream, and water can run across the desert floor and then just really flood these.
Wow. Well, this photo has kind of a mystical quality. It's very lovely. Thank you, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Melinda, let's return to the tides with the Tides Wharf 2.
Yeah, I think I mentioned last time that I took two images, and that the other one was looking pretty much into the light, so it seemed appropriate to show it this time. It's just probably a few seconds before or after the other one. You can see the ripples in the water at the bottom, which were probably from when I threw some muffin crumbs out there, or it could be from the sea lion that was eating them, and the birds were definitely ready to find scraps as well, and so this snap has more of them and more interesting poses, I think. Maybe a less interesting composition of the wharf, but definitely a backlit composition.
You can tell me something. What are the tall, skinny things that look like people out on the wharf, particularly two on
I
the right?
think they're just bracing for the vertical poles. I guess they just to keep the wharf from falling over or something, but that's just my guess. But they do look like people.
Yeah, the birds really make this photo for me. And a great sky, too, to silhouette them against. Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
All right, this next photo is mine. This photo I did not shoot for this competition as I did the other two that I submitted. I shot this in 2023 and I showed this in our June 2023 Open Division slideshow. And it didn't get much action there. I have entered this in many international competitions and it never does anything. It never even gets accepted. And I'm sure the judges are thinking, well, if you'd only bring up the shadow highlights, then it would be perfect. But I love this photo. It's one of my personal favorites. It's all about these flags and the light, the sun, kind of giving them an illuminated effect, this luminous effect. Because so many of the members of this demonstration are wearing like white or light colored shirts, we can kind of clearly separate them even if we can't see their faces. And I think it's got good depth too. So I was just compelled to share this one again. I love looking at this photo and I thought this would be a good opportunity to show it off again.
Well, it's certainly got lovely depth in all the flags going off into the distance there. But I guess my question is, what is it? What something about it is moving you? What exactly?
Sure, that's a great question. It's specifically the light. I like how the flags are bright, even though the light is coming from behind them. So for me, it's all about the light in this photo.
I like the different colored headgears.
Yeah, this is a Sikh, or also called Sikh movement. It's a separatist movement out of India. And I don't know exactly what the headgear is called, these turbans. I don't know what the formal name is, but that's what's happening here. All right, thank you, Lee. We've got one by you up next.
Wait, Matt. I wanted to
Yes.
talk about your picture.
Oh, sure. Let me go back.
I forgot to unmute me.
Ah, I didn't notice. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
no,
Steve.
I have a on and off button on my microphone, so I can mute without it showing up. Anyway, that's beside the point. Yeah, I'm a fan of this picture. I think this. I mean, I've traveled, and I always try to get flags blowing in my direction. And you're lucky enough to get the one that's closest to the camera is actually blowing in our direction. On top of that, it's really interesting from a color standpoint. I guess was it Lee? Somebody was saying, because it's mostly primary colors and flat color. I mean, that is, there are not too many people wearing patterns, so you get a lot of large areas of relative to their bodies of uh, colored fabric, and this bright yellow, which is nobody's wearing yellow. I guess there is one yellow turban somewhere there. Yeah, there is. But mostly I'm seeing red and blue and green. So we got the primary and secondary colors. So it's really, a very prismatic color scheme, and then the flags add some great depth to it. So yeah, I think you're justified in liking this picture and saying screw you to those judges who don't know
That's
one good
right.
thing when they see it.
Well, thank you, Steve. Yeah, I forgive the judges. They perform an important service for us. I'm not going to hold anything against them. And
It was probably just shy. If we just had one more slot, we could include it.
well, we all have our own personal favorites that no one else really sees the same way as we do, and this one is maybe that for me. But thank you for your comments. I really hadn't considered the color of those turbans. And I could go in to Photoshop and Camera Raw and bring those colors, those specific colors up. That might be an interesting experiment. I hadn't really thought about it. I hadn't really looked at it that way.
I don't think you need to do much to it.
Yeah, maybe not.
One other thing you might consider, I mean, there is kind of this narrow sight line that goes all the way through, right? You can see through all the way to the back and
Right.
all the different layers of flags, but it's a very small patch. So maybe if you crop in centered on that sight line and pick up, a good chunk of the flags and all of those turbans along the bottom, and not much more, maybe you'll get a stronger 3D composition.
Yeah, that's worth trying. I cropped this. The cropping is kind of loose in this one. There's kind of a flag that's a little apart from the group that I wanted to keep, but maybe I don't need to keep it. That's something I can try too.
Matt, there's one thing that I keep seeing in my imagination, which is a border top and bottom, especially at the top. So the flag that's in the foreground just sits above the border.
That's a great idea. Border would probably help this image in a way because it is kind of the background is definitely dark. And then I could do kind of a. Are you suggesting, Steve, a sort of a through the window effect at the top?
Exactly.
With a false
Just a
frame?
black, not like a Melinda type of border, but a black border so that it sticks out.
Yeah.
Because that flag is definitely coming through the window. At least it actually says to me anyway.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely emphasized on my loom pad too, which really likes to put things through the window.
Actually, I think the guy in the foreground, he's coming through the window too, isn't he?
He's completely in front of the window.
He is,
Yeah.
yeah, and I did that intentionally. I couldn't get this composition to work with that person behind the window. I was gonna lose too much on the right to keep that flag, which maybe I don't need. So I
No.
put it in front of the window, and I was
Like I
really
said,
happy with it. It's kind of cinematic, I guess. That's something they wouldn't be afraid to do in a 3D movie.
I mean, I've said before, I have no problem with stuff at the top and bottom of a frame being in front of the window because you're not getting any occlusion. It's stuff that goes out on the side that gets weird.
So
Yeah, but
sometimes-
it is possible that some of the judges were dinging him for the stereo violation anyway.
That could be.
Could be. Well, since I already am through the window on the bottom, maybe I probably should try Steve's suggestion and do the same at the top. I think that, and maybe with some additional cropping, that would probably really emphasize the 3D. Well, thanks for your feedback. I really enjoyed showing this one. Let's move on to one by Leave. Gettysburg Silhouette is the title. This was taken around sunset at Gettysburg National Military Park.
Okay, first of all, Matt, you have to bribe the judges, big exhibitions, and you also have to bribe the projectionist who is doing all the focusing
Of
too.
course. Well, if only I had known that earlier. Well, the entry fees for these international exhibitions are so small, so modest. Maybe they do need bribes in order to keep these operations going. I have no problem paying the entry fees, but I guess I got to push us a little farther. Go ahead, Lee.
Okay, I have made one trip to Gettysburg, and it was very late in the day. And so I took a few images here and there, and I decided this silhouette's got to be the only one that I can do that I think I really like. So I did.
Yeah, very successful.
You got lucky with those clouds. Or maybe you just knew. Yeah, I think because you can't get this silhouette without being in this position. So, I mean, you can move a little bit left and right, but you start to lose the strength of the silhouette. So the clouds are the right color in the right place. Well done.
Thank you. None of the other images were very good.
Yeah, you really need those clouds. That's where all the 3D is hiding. Incidentally, Lee, I put a link to Old Buttermilk Sky by Hoagie Carmichael in the chat, so we could all get that reference now.
That's his most famous song.
Right. All right, thank you, Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And from Melinda is Out of the Shadows into the light.
Yeah, so this is in the Presidio. It's a there's up in the light there is a meadow that I never knew existed for 30 years or something. It's like a bird watching area that I just sort of spotted on Google Maps or Google Earth and went out there to check it out. It's quite lovely. And I found this this interesting drainage ditch done in rough brick, and I was just following that up into the meadow the other day and took this shot. I don't remember if it, I don't think I had the special in mind at the time, but this was or maybe I did. I don't recall when I shot this. Um, and I'm not sure how I feel about this one exactly. I mean, there are a lot of things that I like about it, but it's mostly for me it's about a mood. It's the light is sort of streaming in. You can tell that the meadow up there is beautifully lit, but you can't really see it. So it's sort of beckoning way up there. And then we're down here in the shadows, in the drainage ditch, and so there's kind of a dichotomy that's sort of like shadow and light, heaven and hell, something going on like that. But yeah, this one is all about a mood.
I love the light that's falling on the ivy leaves and kind of the lower center of the frame. I think if you had caught this at any other time, it would have been a pretty dull photo, but that light makes all the difference.
Yeah, that's just the last minute or two of light down there.
And on that tree as well.
Sometimes when I take a picture like this, I suffer with the sun. Uh, I don't know how do you make this, but they are very similar. And sometimes when I take these kind of pictures, the sun is different between left and right because maybe one leaf is blocking one side and the other is, I don't know. It's for me it's difficult. I don't know how did you get this sun like being almost perfect.
Yeah, I don't recall doing anything special here, so I might have just been lucky. I know that in other cases I've struggled with that also. My only advice is to try to notice it while you're shooting and just move. You know, just sometimes 1 inch is enough to fix a little problem like that. You can sort of see it if you're looking for it. But like I said, I don't remember if I was aware of that. In this one, I think it just worked out.
Yeah, maybe with the RXOs it's a little bit difficult because I have to monitor two screens, but really nice.
Yeah, if you can't see it in stereo, then you probably can't see the you can't see any problem.
Time. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Really nice color in this also, very vivid greens. Did you add any saturation to this image?
I don't remember. I think I know that I played with saturation. I don't remember if I kept it. I'm guessing no, because I did want sort of this lower right to be the sort of dark and muted place. So I didn't want sort of the happiness of, like a really bright green. and I definitely didn't want those bright greens up in the sunlight to just sort of blow out or turn fluorescent. So I think I didn't. I think it's whatever the Beam Pro
Yeah.
added.
Well, it's very subtle. It looks very natural. All right. Well, thank you, Melinda.
Thank you.
Well, that concludes our slideshow. But of course, we're not done yet. We're going to vote in our poll. Tonight, we have another ranked choice poll as we did last week. So you're going to be dragging your selections. I'll repeat this from last time. Well, first I'll go through the slideshow again so that we can reacquaint ourselves with the photos. When you do make your selections in the poll, and let me put that link in the chat in case anyone needs it. You can make your selections now, during, or after this slideshow. There's the link in the chat. It's the same link we always use. When you load the poll, it will appear in random order for each participant. You can reorder the entire list or just part of the list by dragging your favorites to the top. The more you order, the more accurate our results will be. You don't have to reorder the entire list, but please select at least 3 favorites and drag those to the top of the list. And something that's important that Melinda reminded us last week, please drag your own titles to the bottom of the list because we don't want to be voting for our own photos. Of course, I think all of mine are great. They're all winners, but we're selecting each other's. So let me go through the slideshow. And if there are any questions about the poll, I can answer them after this review. I'll just spend a few seconds on each slide and I will say the maker and the title. We will start with Beethoven Monument by Roberto. Inverted Cross by Lee. Contrail Cross by Melinda. Backlit Glass by Matt. Fort Mason Loops by Steve. Buckyball San Francisco Exploratorium by Bob. Silhouette at White Sands by Lee. Heaven by Roberto. Curious Hounds by Melinda. Cattle Corral by Matt. El Cerrito Bart State. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me say that again. El Cerrito Bart at Sunset by Steve. Walls Closing In by Lee. The Tides Wharf 2 by Melinda. Calistan by Matt. Gettysburg Silhouette by Lee. Out of the Shadows into the Light by Melinda. And that's the slideshow. If you're following along on YouTube or Twitch, the slideshow will catch up in a few moments. You can participate in the poll by going to that link on your computer. If you'd rather use your smartphone or tablet, there's a QR code there as well. We'll spend a couple of minutes letting people make their selection. Does anyone have any questions about how to participate in tonight's poll? I think we've all figured this out. And of course, I'll show the results in just a few moments. While we're making our selections, I have a few announcements to make. Our next meeting is Tuesday, March 3rd, just a couple of weeks from today. That will be our open division. Our special division will be Tuesday, March 10th, and that special subject is motion blur. And I also encourage you to send Jay Kusnetz an email if you can. And one thing I forgot to mention, we should have Oleg back next month. He was conspicuously absent tonight. He's having hardware issues, computer problems, and we'll get him straightened out so that he can participate. Oleg, if you're watching on one of our live streams, or if you're watching a recording of our live stream, we'll see you next time. I'm going to stop my share. Does anyone need more time for the poll? I'll go ahead and share that. And here are our results. Well, it looks like we just got a last minute change in. Lee, we will call your silhouette at White Stands our first place selection tonight. Well done. Followed by Melinda's Contrail Cross and Roberto's Beethoven Monument. And why don't we throw a fourth place in there? We've got Lee's Gettysburg Silhouette. I think this ranked choice selection, I think we can find a better website for it, but I'm pleased with these results. I think to support Melinda's argument, we're seeing fewer ties, at least for the highest ranked selections. Of course, we have a very small group tonight. The more participants, the better, but let's keep this up and see how it treats us for the rest of the year. I think the interface could be better in making our selections when we have these huge 40 slideshows, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, Matt, I don't know if what you were relating to just now is what I'm going to talk about, but I find it a little bit difficult to find my favorites because they're in random order. That's just a byproduct of it? That's
Each of us gets a different random selection, so there's no bias.
So
I think
there isn't a way to just have it presented in the order that they were shown, like we used to do then.
Well, it's possible, but I think the results would be less accurate because if image number one doesn't get if its position doesn't get changed, it's more likely to be a top scoring image just because of its place on the list. Whereas if the list is randomized for everyone, that risk is minimized.
I think it'll be helpful too when we do a custom version, if we do it that way, if we have the images themselves
Yeah.
visible. So we might forget what the titles are, but
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, okay,
thumbnails would be very helpful.
yeah, exactly.
Thumbnails will be helpful.
And they could be stereo or not, but
Yeah.
I think that would sort of solve that.
Something that I also omitted this time intentionally, which I didn't last week, or maybe I did last week, but usually I list as a part of the name, I include the sequence number, the number that had appeared in the slideshow, and I removed those numbers this time. Again, I thought maybe I would avoid bias by doing that. But having those sequence numbers there might also help us identify if we remember generally like, oh yeah, that was at the beginning of the slideshow or the middle of the slideshow or the end of the slideshow.
Matt, a thought just occurred to me. I have no idea how any of this is done, but if while you're watching, you see one that strikes you, if you could put a star next to it or just specify, I would like to make sure that I put this near the top of my list. That would, especially when you have a lot. Because it's even now with just 16 pictures, it takes a while to find the ones that you want.
And I think that's the drawback to this kind of drag and drop approach, which other ranked choice polls don't have. You can just enter like a number or select a button or something like that. So I think with a better poll, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to kind of mark it, at least specify a number or something, so that you don't have to kind of look at the whole list and then figure it out.
They recently changed the Oscar ballot to be like that. So now you slide in, but you only have the nominated films. When you're before the nominations, you just put a mark by the films that you think are worthy. You know, like the 10 films you think are worthy. You don't give a ranked choice until after the nominations. So there's only 10 to choose from for picture and then 5 for everything else.
Oh, that's interesting. One problem that I'm having finding a good night, Peter. Thanks for joining us. And I see Tor, you put a link in the chat too.
That is Stardust, which I think is Hoagie Carmichael's greatest song.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get a debate going here. Go ahead, Steve.
That's great.
I was going to wait till the end of the meeting, but since you just mentioned the list, is there a way for me to access the chat after the meeting's over?
It's not posted anywhere, but it is archived on my computer. And I wish there was a way to broadly share these. So if there's something specific you're looking for, I can find it. I can send you the chat, but the chat doesn't get posted anywhere. It's just a text file that lives on my computer.
Okay. It's good. That's good to know. If I see a link that I need, I'll just copy it and paste it onto a text file.
Yeah. I wish that's something that could be shared in the Zoom cloud or something like that. I also wish that Zoom had a built-in poll utility so that we could make our selections while we're watching the slideshow. And it does have a poll, but it only allows, like, I think 5 or maybe 10 items per poll. So doesn't really work for us because we seldom have slideshows that short. But we can keep dreaming. And if there's any information that you need that you recall being in a chat, just let me know. I'll dig it up and send it to you. All right. Well, great slideshow. This was a challenging special subject tonight. I think we're going to have a very interesting year with our special subjects. Before we wrap it up tonight, does anyone have anything to share? Any 3D movies or 3D cameras? Anything new and exciting?
I went to see Mercy, a weird movie. You'd think a guy named Pratt would star in a better film than that. Very weird movie.
Weird movie. Yeah, Steve, you mentioned last week that there were, I think, 3 theatrical 3D movies right now, Mercy being one.
Well, that was then.
That was then, right.
I don't think, I guess, I don't know what's playing now. There's something.
Well,
And I
Send
know-
Help is still out there.
Send Help, and then this weekend, Goat is coming.
Hmm.
Probably not of interest to most, but it is Sony, which has a really good animation unit. So it's sports-related animals. It's, of course, playing on the pun of a goat, an actual goat who's wants to be the greatest of all time.
All right.
So
All right. Well, thank you, Steve. Yeah. I'll probably miss Mercy myself. I missed Tron Ares, and I regret missing that in 3D because that would have lent something to that dull.
That would have been the reason. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. We'll see you next month. Have a great evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night, all.
Night.